The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.
And HSA has produced CEOs. We have produced chief directors in government. We have produced general managers. There are many people whose career started there, but they've been able to go very far. Invest in someone, and when you invest in that, you have hope that they are going to stay with you and then actually implement what you've taught them. So when a person is forever moving from one job to the other, the employer already knows that, yes, my investment is not going to be. Let's say they want to take 2 people. They would say, send me 6. Now it's out of my hands. Now you must go and sell yourself there. And one of the things that I need to tell you about is the unpreparedness of young people when they go to these interviews. We have a lot of young people who don't get opportunity. They freeze. They cannot explain who they are. So I would say, young people, be confident enough to be able to talk about yourself.
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of The Groundbreakers. It's a show that is dedicated to empowering students and new graduates by connecting them with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and experts from various fields. I am your host, I am Polelo and Madisa, and tonight we do definitely have a remarkable guest who embodies the spirit of innovation and dedication to skills development. And joining us for this particular conversation tonight, which is touching the future, is Miss Ornica Mukhavhuli. I didn't want to butcher that name coming in. That is why I asked you from the pronunciation of it. But without wasting time, allow me to welcome on the show Miss Ornica. Good evening, and how are you?
Good evening to you too. I'm good. And yourself?
Cannot really complain. Elisaja, please do up the volume of those mics. Yes. No, I cannot really complain. You know, when we were having that particular conversation, you mentioned something very profound to me. For a person that studied here at the Tshwane University of Technology, when you were telling me that story, I then said, you know what? Let us wait until we get here.
Okay.
So that people then know who am I talking to. So they hear from the horse's mouth. I want us to start here with this conversation. After you answered that, I'll then read some bio coming in. I want to talk about growing up in Limpopo and how did your early environment shape your entrepreneurial aspirations until when you even came here to TUTF.
Okay.
Not even TUT, but TUT as a whole.
Yes. So I was born by 2 parents who are quite entrepreneurs. My mother and father were, I like to call them serial entrepreneurs, involved in a number of things. And I think they shaped who I've become today. I got involved in business ventures quite early. My mother was the first woman to own taxis in Makwarera. And she also had a wholesale trading business in fruits and vegetables. So during, school holidays, I would go and work
there.
There. So I think that is what shaped my entrepreneurial skills.
Yes. Now let me give them a short summary of who you are. Miss Ornica is definitely a distinguished South African entrepreneur and executive renowned for her leadership in the education and training sectors. Born and raised in the Limpopo province, she then completed her general education and training there. She has built a remarkable career characterized by a strategic vision, which will then come in as some of the thank you. Was I not clear on? Thank you. Will then come in as subheadings of the conversation that will come in with, right? And she has an characterized by strategic vision, operational excellence, and a commitment to societal transformation. Now, as the CEO and founder of African Global Skills Academy, she has led a Black-owned company dedicated to delivering training services to adult learners across South Africa. Definitely come and unpack more of that, because we do not want to waste time. Want to come in and ask you to get into the matter of fact to say, what aspects of your education and training in Limpopo were then very pivotal in terms of guiding you in a career toward executive management?
Okay, so I think we started in what you call the Bantu education system.
Yeah.
But I was very lucky. I went to Dimani Agricultural School, and that school was quite a structured school with a vast, a group of teachers. We had teachers. I think we had Philippines, Venda, White. So it was quite a very involved kind of education, and we learned a lot from there. And one of the programs that we did there obviously was agricultural studies. So we learned to plant our own plants and grow our own chickens and sell them at a very young age. So that also, I think, helped in leadership skills from a very young age.
And how I wish I grew up in Limpopo, because every guest that I sit with here who coming in from Limpopo tells me how they're good at planting, having, agricultural aspects. And I'm be like, I grew up in Pretoria. I know
look, I mean, the soil there is quite good for, farming, as you know. So you have to learn some skills. There's no way you can learn a few agricultural skills, through planting and, just growing of chickens,
and I think maybe when God created South Africa, he put Limpopo specifically there to say this is the place where people will farm.
Yes.
Because everyone there is coming. Look at the Zebediela orange farms. Everything there is beautiful. Now, the transition to entrepreneurship, I wanted to know if you can then define a moment that, led you from traditional roles in education to then funding AXA.
Okay, so I don't know if you know, but I worked for this institution for 7 years.
Ow.
So I worked in the department, you call it hospitality now, and I did a lot of work in the teaching of food service management students. And then the last 2 years, I was in the Department of Cooperative Education. So my role there was going out into the industry and finding work opportunities, work integrated learning opportunities. And that was the time when I saw a niche for the skills development space. The start of the learnerships was starting up. I remember having a conversation with my manager at Cooperative Education and trying to convince him to look into opening a skills center within the university. But because of the structure of the university, it was very, very difficult. They didn't see the vision. And the vision today became African Global Skills Academy.
Sure. You know what? I always take some things from the guests that we have on this platform. And today I think it's believing in your vision. Yes. Once you have a vision, you're definitely coming into it. I structured these lines of questioning in different subheadings. I'll come into leadership and management. And now, when we look at strategic vision, because now we're coming in from the point of you had a vision, you saw it, and eventually brought it to life. How do you balance strategic, technical, and operational roles in your daily responsibilities now as a CEO?
I'm quite what I call a CEO that when people ask me, I say I'm a glorified administrator. In the sense that I dig in and I understand what is happening with the business. I'm not an absent CEO, yet I allow people to do their own work. So I think one needs to find a balance in the sense that you need to really understand the operation to a certain extent. However, still be strategic enough, and not become a leader that makes other people not grow. So they will tell you that I have a motto that says in AJSA you either swim or sink, which I use in the sense that I provide people the opportunities to learn. And the opportunities to learn is to give people certain tasks that they are fearful of. And then encouraging them to say, but you can do it. Definitely. And they always look at my face like, I won't be able to do it. But if you can interview a lot of the AGSA staff, they will tell you that through swimming, they didn't actually sink. They managed to come up.
I'm taking that. Swim or sink.
Swim or sink. There's nothing more important than learning.
Yeah.
And you only learn through the experiences that you are given. And if you are not given the opportunities to learn, you can never grow.
Definitely. Tepi, so we are giving you the opportunity to learn. So you either swim or sink. Now let's come into team development. What strategies have you then employed in terms of recruiting, training, and even motivating your team to align with AGSA's goals?
So AGSA is a learning business.
Yeah.
We are in a space of skills development and youth employment. So I have a bias in terms of employment. So I employ people who are looking for the first time job, mostly.
Yeah.
Yes, we do bring in some experienced employees to balance the situation. But one of the biggest things that I've learned, because I was an educator, is that that CV doesn't create itself. Someone has to give you that opportunity that you are able to say, I have 2 years of experience. Where will you get it if we don't give you those opportunities?
True.
So I have a tendency of bringing in graduates. And if you look into the AGSA staffing, I have people who came in as graduates and they've been there for 18 years. So the developmental approach that I take as a person has been instilled in the business, in the sense that even the management team, I've taught them to really have the patience to allow people to develop within the business and grow. So we look at that. We look at training opportunities that they are able to also engage on. We also quite what we call an organization that, although everyone has roles, you must be able to do everything. So on a daily basis, you might find yourself doing tasks that you believe that they are not your tasks. So I always say to Team AGSA, the titles are in your emails, but the real work, we are not title based. As much as myself, you can find me making sandwiches for guests if they come to the office. So that allows an opportunity for one to be quite multi-skilled. So a number of the team members are very multi-skilled. We are able to say, go out, go and monitor people that are on other programs. Go out and go and do some training. And because we teach them various skills, it makes them able to fly everywhere. And AGSA has produced CEOs. We have produced chief directors in government. We have produced general managers. There are many people whose career started there, but they've been able to go very far.
And you know what? Before we come into the next question, I loved what you said about you hire people on the basis of no experience, so they can learn that. I was reading a post coming in from DPSA, one of the vacancies is, they would tell you that they're looking for 5 years experience. Where do I get that as a graduate who just graduated? And then I want to oppose, do you think then those companies or government institutions that are doing that are being fair?
Look, they are being fair in the sense that there are tasks that one needs to know something. So what I can say to graduates is that when we look into CVs, a very clean CV is a problem to me as an employer. And I think for young South Africans, one of our biggest challenges that we are faced with is that they believe that they are trained for a specific job. But when we look into experience, it's not necessarily that we are looking for that particular experience. We want to see whether you've been inside an employment environment. So if you have a degree and I read that you were working as a waiter at Wimpy, that has value for us as employer. But young people nowadays will rather sit at home and are waiting for this, a job that is, I'm an HR what. They are not that kind of jobs. So build up your experience, not necessarily only for that specific degree or diploma that you have, Build it up with other related activities that you can do.
Definitely. And I want to direct this to a friend of mine. I know they might be watching live. We always complain and fight every single time. I'm telling them, you're not going to get that job that you studied for in this particular economy. There's a lot of people go try, and you're saying to me, I can't work in that particular environment. I studied, I got my degree, and I'm saying, Chief, your CV is empty. You're not going to get hired by anything. Now, before we're going to take a break and coming into the issues or opportunities that are there for graduates, let me take this policy implementation question to say, can you discuss then the importance of establishing a clear policies and producing, procedures in driving a business success?
Okay, so I think what AGSA has been like in is that we work in an environment that is very much regulated by policy and system. So in order to be where we are, we had to start from day one with what we call a quality management system. And the quality management system is a way in which a business put together all their policies. This is how we are going to employ. This is how we are going to recruit. This is how we are going to do this function. So when you do that, you create a systematic way in which a business functions. So whoever comes into the business is able to fit in within those kind of policies. So an organization which doesn't have policies is not going to be able to function very well.
It will not swim, it will sink.
It will sink.
It will definitely sink. And I'm taking that home. Liseja, it's either you swim or sink. And this is one of the lessons that we are taking tonight. Every single day, me and Liseja, we take lessons coming in from the guests that we'll be able to share among other people. And I'll take financial oversight and then we'll take a quick break. How critical is financial planning and cost analysis in terms of managing diverse projects at your company? Because you did mention there's a lot of projects that you're dealing with.
Yeah. Let me rephrase your question.
Okay.
I think what people need to be learning from my talk is cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king because a business is as good as the money that is available for it to do the activities that it needs to do. And it therefore means that we have to manage our finances very well. If you look at our kind of business, there is not a day that goes by that we don't spend money.
Yeah.
We have young people out there being trained. We have trainers that are going out there to train. They are accommodated, some of them in accommodation. They are traveling, they are eating.
Yeah.
So if you are not managing your finances, you don't have the money. When you don't have the money, you can't do business. When you can't do business, you have to close shop.
How is it, while we're still speaking about money, how important, is financial literacy? I think a lot of people are not financially literate. That's why a lot of businesses are sinking.
As an entrepreneur, you need to have some understanding of how money works.
Yeah.
But I think if you are a visionary, what you need to do is to be able to make sure that you have people that are supporting you, who have that kind of skills.
Yeah.
So if you look at me, I've already said I couldn't do food technology because I didn't have the mathematics. So I had to have people that are quite knowledgeable in terms of the finances.
Yeah.
But over the years, you learn almost everything about it because you have to interact with an income statement. You need to understand what does it mean.
Yeah.
So it's also a skill that one can learn if they put their minds into it. So you don't have to get in with that skill, but you must give yourself some time to actually get to a point where you understand, finances.
Sure. You know what? It is definitely a minute before the hour 8 o'clock. We're going to take a very quick ad break. And I want to remind everyone who is listening that this is Plug a Graduate. It is the season 2, episode 9. We are speaking to Miss Ornica. And the topic tonight is touching the future. I want you to remember that you can follow us on our social media platforms at TUTFM 96.2 on Facebook, X, Insta, and TikTok as TUTFM _962. And you can interact with us on our WhatsApp line line 012-382-9257. Take a quick break and we'll definitely... 4 minutes after the hour, 8 o'clock, and you are still tuned in to TUT FM 96.2, amplifying voices, empowering lives. And this is Plug a Graduate, Season 2, Episode 9. And we are chilling with Madam O, coming in from a very beautiful background, right? I definitely don't want to say. But before we get back to our conversation, let's start off here. The Directorate of Corporate Education, in conjunction with the Performability Recruitment and Recruiters Care, is offering a series of workshops during 2025 to prepare students for job hunting. Now, all students are welcome. The date is the 14th of March 2025 from 12 to 2. It is definitely going to be an online. There will be a link that will be shared within the TUT FM platforms, the social media platforms, so that you can join that particular workshop through that link. Now, let's come back to Plug a Graduate. Madam O, we are now coming into the graduate opportunities that are available at AGCSA. Now, I want to understand what specific programs or initiatives does then your company offer to support, recent graduates in terms of gaining practical experience.
Okay. So let's just start from the point where we actually start with providing programs for work integrated learning. Mm-hmm. So those are those that are now leaving the technical and needing those 6 months or the 18 months, depending on whether it's TVET. We then offer those kind of opportunities for work integrated learning, where we are linking the young people with the hosts, and we are paying the stipend. So, and then we have the graduates. As I'm speaking now, I think there's over 600 young people who are in the payroll of AGSA every month.
Can we get a horn? Can we get a horn? A horn?
Earning stipends for between 18 to... Just getting that experience. You remember we were talking about these 2 years.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do when we do the work readiness programs, when we start, is to say, don't be that person who doesn't stick into something. Because when we evaluate CVs as well, we check whether a young person can stick and do something for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
So when we start looking at CVs of a job hopper, that's what we call them. A person who stays 3 months, 4 months. We don't employ those kind of people, because remember, as an employer, you invest in someone, and when you invest in that, you have hope that they are going to stay with you and then actually implement what you've told them. So when a person is forever moving from one job to the other, the employer already knows that my investment is not going to be.
And what kind of graduates are you looking for, from a specific faculty or field or any?
So the opportunities come and go, right? If I look into the program that we're running now, it cut across all sectors, cut across all industries. So we've put people, lawyers, we've put engineers, we have put HR people, we've put sales, we've put the hospitality. So at certain times we make a lot of calls in our social media where we are saying we have this opportunity. And then when you respond to that opportunity, we are able to link you with that opportunity that is available. We also help employers that actually we don't get paid for it or anything, but because we're in the habit of plugging young people. If, for example, a Barcelos says to us they want to employ, we will then do that advertisement on their behalf. We will receive those CVs. We will do a short list of those CVs. We'll send them to Barcelos, and Barcelos will do the appointments. It has nothing to do with us. So we also encourage employers to say, use our platforms, because we have thousands of young people coming through our website and our social media handles to look for opportunities. So if you have employment opportunities, let us know. We can support you to receive the CVs, do a short list of CVs, and you take it up with interviewing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also they must be on the lookout for this platform also, because that's what we do here, amplifying voices, empowering lives. We're trying by all necessary means to bridge that gap. Now, coming into the application process, could you then outline the application process, for graduates who are then interested in joining those programs?
So we have two processes. We have a process where if we have a call, we can make a call and tell you that we have these opportunities. And then you would see, we would put out posters, and then you would be directed in terms of where you must send your CV and which email address. But we also have a system, an online system, which is always available, where you are able to go and register. When you register, it tells you, it's called agsaLearners.co.za. You go in, you put your CV, you choose your industry, you choose whether you are looking for a will, employment or internship program, and then we keep that CV. So when we have an opportunity, we are digging based on industry, qualifications, and then we'll contact you and say there's this opportunity, and then you can tell us if you are still looking for a job
or something else has come up.
So which is one of the things that we are going to be collaborating with the university now, is that I know that there's an app that is going to be available. So through that, we're also going to bring our opportunities there. Because it's going to be, for the alumni, where they'll also be able to see what are the opportunities that are coming from AGSA, from that app that belongs to the university.
Beautiful stuff. The university did mention that we are moving from good to great, so we are definitely
it's a lot happening. There's a lot happening,
and even those who are listening and viewing online definitely do know that there's a lot. And if you are sleeping on yourself, we don't know what should happen to you. Now, what is the criteria in terms of considering or selecting those candidates?
To be honest with you, we give every young person an opportunity. So if it's a graduate opportunity, sometimes you find that we are able to just do a straightforward selection based on you have the degree and so on. But sometimes the employers would say, no, give me a short list. So let's say they want to take 2 people. They would say, send me 6. Now it's out of my hands. Now you must go and sell yourself there. And one of the things that I need to tell you about is the unpreparedness of young people when they go to these interviews. We have a lot of young people who don't get opportunity. They freeze. They cannot explain who they are. So I would say, young people, be confident enough to be able to talk about yourself. Employers just want to understand that when you come into their companies, they would be able to say, please do this, and you do it. So I think they must build a lot of skills around confidence, because there's so much we can do in training. I cannot answer for you in an interview, unfortunately.
And I was about to come up to that conversation to ask you to say, I think the most frightening question of them all in an interview is, tell us about yourself. When the interview then says, tell us about yourself, I think that's the question that tricks everyone, that blows everyone.
I don't actually ask that anymore.
Well, what should people then say when being asked that question? Should they say, my name is Polelo and Madisa, I have a degree in journalism, I come from... What would one say?
I think it allows you, and yes, you still need to say what you have, but it allows you an opportunity for an employer to actually get to know who you are. So I think it's the one question that one is supposed to be more relaxed to say, who am I? I'm Madam O. I'm an I'm an introvert, or I'm extrovert. I love this. So sometimes we actually think that we need to create this persona in interviews, but we want to know the real person, because that is the real person that we are going to be working with.
Because I can come up and put a facade to say I'm this type of person, but eventually when I'm hired, people then realize.
And the other thing that one must be careful of is that South Africa is quite a country that we've become very, American or English.
Westernized.
So just because we speak clean English doesn't necessarily make us a good candidate. So we look beyond all that thing, you know.
Yes.
I found the most greatest employees of people that could not even answer 3 questions, you know. So it's also, you know, just be yourself.
Yeah, and have the ability to express yourself
as much as possible.
And I think I also, for one, I lost out on an interview. I think
Why? What did you do?
I think it was the way I was dressing.
The dressing.
The dressing. I think the problem was the dressing because I took it lightly. It was a certain department within the institution also, because it's who I am. I come to work dressed in overalls. I feel comfortable in that particular manner. So when they called me, I was like, I think I answered everything perfectly. Everything was fine. But I think the dress code might have then altered something to say, but this person.
But that's what you need to you need to review. You know, there are certain jobs, like your jobs, you know, if you look at, jobs in journalism, radio, music, arts, you are a bit relaxed, but there are certain jobs that we still need you to
be formal.
Yeah. So, for example, AGSA is very strict.
Yeah.
The 4 days of your work, no jeans, no sneakers. We actually call people out.
Yeah.
But on Fridays, we are in a relaxed mood, golf shirts, you know, so that we give that opportunity for one to use that jean that they bought. But we do not allow it for the whole every day.
It's a very professional space, definitely, and you definitely need to look the part, even if when some recruiters come into the office, they find you that ready. Now let's look into mentorship opportunities. Does AGSA then provide mentorship or coaching as part of its graduate programs, and if it's so, how is it then structured?
Okay, so our graduate programs already is integrated the mentorship. So mentorship for us is twofold. So there's a point where we as an organization come in and look at how the graduate is doing into the workplace. But we also empower the actual supervisors and the mentors in the workplace to give that support. Addition to that, we also provide like a tool that allows them to track the performance quarterly to say how is the person doing. And that tool doesn't necessarily look only into technical skills. It also looks into your life skills. You know, are you able to interact with your colleagues and so on? How are you handling conflict? Those are general. It doesn't matter what job you are doing. So we try our level best, and we also are quite open to young people, you know, writing to us, calling us, telling us what are their challenges. If there's a challenge in the workplace, we go there, we sit down, and we listen what is going wrong.
And I want to, before, what time is it? Because I know we still have time. I want to come in and ask about, you did mention about the performance evaluation, that alumni success stories. If you can, for this minute before I take a break, share one success story of past graduates that have then benefited from this particular program.
One, if you can. A lot.
There's a lot. I know there's a lot.
We were currently having a 21st anniversary 2 weeks ago for AGSA. And one of we had invited a very successful graduate of AGSA who's running a great restaurant. We had invited a successful graduate who's running an events company. It's actually quite a lot. We have a lot. We don't only do mentorship in terms of graduates. We do mentorship in terms of entrepreneurs. There's a lot of other entrepreneurs that I've mentored through the 21 years that are running very successful businesses as well.
Now let's look into external opportunities coming out from the particular company, because I know that you might have partnered with other organizations that offer opportunities, and then so how then can these graduates also get those opportunities?
Okay, so we partner a lot. We look into a lot of collaborative approaches. We have quite a number of partners that we work with. There's an organization called TTBisa, they are in the Western Cape.
Okay.
They offer more or less what we offer. They
yeah.
also have lots of graduates, training opportunities. We partner with an organization called Lulaway. They do massive employment opportunities. We have an organization called MMC. So collaborative approach.
Yeah.
So what happens with that is that if they have an opportunity, they send us all their
opportunities that are available. Yeah.
And then we post them in our social media. Sometimes we also share spaces where they would then come to AGSA. So you will find that a lot of posters would come with that organization's logo and AGSA's logo. It's because we'll then be supporting that organization in the recruitment drive for the young people.
Let's come into networking events. How does AGSA then host or participate in events where graduates can network with industry professionals?
We attend a lot of exhibitions. Last year, we were part of a big initiative at Sifahomagatu there, Jobs for Billion. We met over thousands of young people, but in the health spaces. But where there's exhibitions, SITA exhibitions and so on, we go and we network. And we during that time, we provide the opportunity for graduates to come and ask, what is it that you are offering? How can we connect? We always would have, they can scan in and, do their registrations and so on. So we network a lot.
And then while we're still on networking, without even me coming in from that question, how important, in your own opinion, in your own experience, 21 years been doing this business, how important is networking? Because, people would say, there's a lady that I stay with, we stay in a commune. She's an introvert. And I always tell her that you need to socialize. You need to be out there to speak with people because you're not going to get those opportunities by just sitting in your space. And I'm sure she might be even watching this. I'm directing this for you. How important is networking?
Can I say something about networking?
Please.
There's socializing and there's networking. So the two are not the same. Okay. Networking is those opportunities that sort of feed the soul in the sense that you would be left with something that you want to follow up on, right?
Yeah.
Socializing is where we sit and drink. But
talk.
In socializing, you might meet people that you would later connect with them. I'm not saying there are not opportunities, but networking is strategic. It's saying, I'm going to be here, I'm going to listen, and I will grab at least one or two people. And if you go to an event and after that event, you must at least be able to connect with one person. One person can open a lot of doors.
True.
Because you do not know who they are and what network they have. But if you go to a function and at the end, you didn't, there's nothing that you can really say. So it's very important networking.
And even when people ask you to say, how was the event? It was just
focusing on the food, on the platters, you can't, you will not have enough time to talk to everyone.
True.
But you must be strategic to at least talk to one or two people. And out of those, see whether there's no further discussion that you want to have with this person. One thing I've learned is that a lot of the successes that we've had was through the network.
True. Definitely. I've attended so many events. Sometimes I often go through my phone and I see contacts of people. I'm like, but who's this person? And I would see member of parliament or member of legislature. And I remember, I met them at that particular moment. And then when I'm in doing my show, and then I need someone, I give them a call.
Exactly.
I met you at this particular event. My name is. They're like, yes. No, we can assist. But I do understand. And let's look at certification programs. Are there, specific certification or courses that recommend graduates to pursue to enhance their employability?
Okay. So for graduates, we offer what we call the work readiness program. And then it comes out with a certificate in which it's just a certificate of attendance because these people already have a degree. How many times can we train the same people? Because there's what I call over training, where a person would have a lot of certificates, which also hinders. the learning, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a strong advocate for learning that doesn't get cut in the middle and the person work and then continue.
Yeah.
Because you can become a serial educated person who has no experience.
True.
We have people sitting with doctorates at home.
Yeah.
Because the CV still
Under
says,
the bed, under the
CV
matrix.
still says no experience, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, true.
So I'm saying I did the same. I studied my 3 years here, went to work, came back and did the BTech part-time, went to work, came back and did another BTech. So use the opportunity to have learning in between.
Yes.
So that you can build up that CV. Yeah. So certificates are important, but let it be not the ones we are running for. So for programs, because we have programs for those that were not fortunate enough to come to university. Then we are offering the SAQA accredited qualifications. But for graduates, we just need to give you soft skills. And off you go and do something.
And definitely. And then if you can't, then it's on you. You have failed yourself. Because I also have a problem with people who would then do their diploma, get their degree, do their honors, masters, then go for doctorate without working in between. And then eventually, when you then go and market to try to get, they say no, chief.
And then that's where young people get depressed now, suicidal, because you've spent 10 years studying and yet you don't have a job. It doesn't make any sense.
And they'll always complain. I've always said to people when say, no, this country doesn't want to give us opportunities and all of that. I'm saying, but chief, you spent 6 years studying. You didn't work in between. What you have is theoretical. You have nothing practical to show that you can eventually do the job.
And they still also don't want the jobs that are available because they are waiting for the managerial job. So a job is a job. A job. You know one thing, because of traveling, that I find quite interesting is how South African views jobs and how other countries views jobs. Some other countries, any job is respected. Here we have categorized the jobs.
True.
And everything that is not at a certain level, we look upon it. And people will rather sit at home and watch TV rather than do that job. But one person once said to me that there's a person whose life was changed just because they were doing housekeeping.
Just imagine.
On the day when they were doing housekeeping, they met Oprah Winfrey. How are you going to meet if you don't even think that housekeeping is a job that can be done? Where are you going to meet? It goes back to this network. How are you going to meet important people when you are sitting at home watching Scandal?
Definitely. TikTok. If you're not watching TikTok, you have to watch TUT FM. Eventually, they have to watch us because we're giving them the platform. But if you're watching other things, we definitely don't go.
So you see, you need to be out there, and out there can be a job. I've given jobs to people that I've met in a coffee shop.
True.
To say, what are you doing? No, I have a degree in what, but I'm still in between jobs. And I'm like, yes, my card said the CV. Do you see now that opportunity created other opportunities?
True, definitely.
That's what I'm trying to explain to those.
It is definitely, what time is it? Let me look at it. 27 minutes before not even before, but after the hour, 8 o'clock. Let me remind you, we're in conversation with Madam O. We're touching on the topic of touching the future. We're looking into what graduates can expect when going into the workplace. How can they prepare themselves? Follow us on our social media platforms of Facebook, TUT FM 96.2, X, Insta, and TikTok. Shouldn't be watching Pastor Ignima or anything else, but you should be watching this particular platform, TUTFM_962. And on our WhatsApp line, it's 012-382-9257. We are definitely back just like that, 25 minutes before the hour, 9 o'clock. And soon after that, Mateja Senyola will come back and stand in for DeRay William Masenya. But coming back to that conversation, we just had a voice note from our listener, Madam O. Definitely do answer that.
Our success rate, I think, is very, very high. I think the graduate program is one of those that a lot of young people are guaranteed jobs. If you do very well, a lot of the employers would offer you an opportunity. And also we see a lot of them leave the program before the program ends because they have
Something.
Permanent employment. So I would say when it comes to graduate success, probably over 50% of young people, if they go through a 24-month and they are putting in a lot of effort, they would get an opportunity, either where they are working or outside, because by then they are able to have that CV that says, I've been doing one, two, three. Yeah.
Definitely beautiful answer.
Good evening, good people from TGFM. My name is Gwena and I'm from Polelo. What are some of the qualities you look for in a CV that makes people get shortlisted?
Okay, so if the requirements are met, we then look into the experience. If it's a graduate program, we don't actually look into that. We look into, do you meet the requirements? Once the requirements are met, is the employer wanting to do the additional interview? If the employer wants to do the additional interview, we are sending you once you meet our requirements. Then it is your responsibility to arrive at the interview and convince the employer that you need that internship.
Hi, Ola. I hope everyone is well. My name is Tiamo and I'm from Appel. So if I get a recommendation from your company, does that guarantee that I will get the job?
No.
Can I get a bombshell? Can I get a bombshell on that no?
Definitely not.
Hi, Ola. I hope everyone is well. My name is Tiamo and I'm from Appel. So if I get a recommendation from your company, does that guarantee that I will get the job?
No. Basically, we recommend you to go and prove to the employer that you are capable. So it is your own attitude, your skills, your knowledge, the way you do your job that guarantees you the job. We can guarantee you the opportunity to go and be evaluated to form part of the people that can be considered.
True.
That's all we can guarantee.
Yeah. No, that's very understandable. Another one, we're done. But let's get a bombshell on that no. I want a bombshell on that no. You had it. It did not waste time. Do not hesitate. Straight to it. Right. Now let's move along. We do have coming in from comments coming in from our social media platform. I did mention that on Facebook, we are Facebook 96.2. We see Linda Siliga saying touch the future. Shout out to you, Linda. Zikia saying brilliant. Definitely shout out to you. And Zalfa Das, the hashtag touch your future. Give to a shout out to you. And what's this one? Okay, let me look at from this particular point. Mepo Shatzavana also looking in, saying great insights. Thank you, Madam O. Coming in also Takala Ralepata saying what an inspiration. Beautiful to see one life touching thousands or more. Beautiful conversation indeed that we are having. Let's look into professional bodies and ask this question to say, how can then joining professional bodies such as the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants benefit graduates?
Okay, so remember there are professions that are quite regulated and there are professions that are not. So if you are a graduate who is doing, for example, accounting, part of our responsibility in that package for the internship would allow us to support you in the registration for that professional body. So we would then, sort of walk you through the process of being recognized.
Yes.
But you need to meet the criteria that professional body is looking for. Yeah. No, it's not us, you.
Sorry. Yeah. I love how much you reiterate on the fact that we prepare you. Yes. It is then up to you when you get there.
Yeah, you know why I'm saying that? Because our Facebook will have a lot of comments, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. At the end of the day, we create the opportunities. The young people must grab the opportunities and run with them. So your future, you touch it yourself. we enabled it.
We bring
right.
it here.
That's why the hands are there for you.
Yeah.
We are helping you to touch it, but we are not the one who will touch it on your behalf. So, if we provide the opportunity, make the most
out of it. Yeah. Reiterate the saying that the future is in your hands.
Yeah.
You either mold it or you break it. I remember when I went for my interview first year at the journalism department, one lecturer was interviewing me, was saying, do you know that part of your future is in my hands? I have to give it to you. Then after giving it to you, it's up to you what you do with it. You then go and make the most of it, or you just go back home and sit and say, I did not learn anything. Now let's come into entrepreneurial support to say what resources are available for graduates who are then interested in starting their own businesses.
Okay. We have programs that we call new venture creation programs, where they look particularly into your entrepreneurial skills, give you the skills, how to write a business plan, how to do a marketing plan and those. But you need to then say to us that, thank you very much for this opportunity. That I see myself as a Madam O.
Yeah.
I'm an employer. How can you support us? So we would then provide those additional skills. But unfortunately, we are not the CIFA or a CIDA, so we don't fund you. Some programs might come with us being able to support you with the registration of the company, but it's not all of them. So if we have that opportunity, we'll also help you with the registration of the company. But if the program doesn't come with that, you will still be expected to do that on your own.
Yeah.
But when you need help, or you need a person to talk to, or you need to just understand, we are always available to give you that support.
Yeah. You know what? I'll take one question and then I'll come in with a subheading of advice on securing opportunities. Are there now international programs or scholarships that South African graduates can apply to then gain a global experience?
There are so many international opportunities. Graduates need to look out for those. We have had some partnerships, especially on the hospitality side, with those people that are going on cruises. Where we would support the recruitment, will provide the CVs of the people will go and do the interviews, and they would go. But there are many other opportunities that are available for graduates. I see a lot of young people going out to teach. So if you are one of those that like teaching, we're seeing a lot of opportunities in places like China, where they're looking for teachers for English, for example. So it depends on what you really want.
You definitely should plug us. Honse, I was wanting to direct this to you, but I'll definitely do it. No, you should definitely plug us with that. I want to reiterate on that. I want to implement it actually. When you said, I loved it when you said for 4 days you need to dress professional, and then on Friday then you can relax. I want to bring that memorandum here into TFN.
Please do it.
So that people can take us serious. I can't have someone come here with a skinny jean. I know it's a relaxed space, but that thing also teaches you professionalism going into bigger places.
You know, if I give you countries like Korea and China, you will never meet anyone dressed up badly in the street. The streets in Tokyo are full of men wearing suits, and the women all the way to stockings and so on. So, as much as South Africa is, we are the rainbow nation and so on, we must not really forget professionalism. And I think we slowly losing that because of the approach. You want young people, they want to come with their stomach out to the office, and it's just not acceptable.
Honse, Madam O was then saying that at her company, Monday to Thursday, people are wearing formal. It's only then on Friday where you can relax, come with your skinny jean and shirt. I want you as the programs manager to instruct people that it's a mandate coming in from next week, Monday, formal. So that we can be then recognized and be on that stage.
I want to know what opportunities do you have there for mentors? You said that you are employing work students or learnership students around 800 people. But then, do you have mentors, or are there any opportunities for mentors to come through and mentor those WIL students?
Okay, so mentorship for us is an area where the mentors that we work with, we have very few that come in just for mentoring only, right? Because a lot of the mentoring happens in the workplace with our programs. So we don't actually employ mentors, but in cases where we have a program that requires that, then we engage the mentors, and then we have an agreement, and they would then clearly understand what is that role. So if he wants to become a mentor, he's welcome to contact us, and we put him on a database, and he must clearly define which area of expertise. Because the industry is important to us, because we only have opportunities even for employment based on the programs we are running and the industry we are running.
And it might happen that eventually you might find one of those companies that are looking for mentors would then say, can you then recruit this amount of mentors for us? And he might be able to find employment in that sector. Let's come into looking at the time that we have, the advice on securing opportunities. You know, you mentioned, and I want you to reiterate more on this resume building. What key elements should then graduates focus on when creating or crafting their resumes to stand out to employees or employers?
Okay, so we have the section for the qualification. I think it's very important that you are specific. Exactly what are you saying you have? If a program is not yet fully finished, also be clear that I'm busy with this program. Then if you have other additional certificates, you might find is that one additional certificate of wine making. You know, that I'm looking for. That separates you from the others. If you have leadership experience, if you've been, you know, an MC for 5 years, even if it's not in a workplace, but we know that you are capable of doing certain things. That means if we give you tasks, you'll be able to do them. So give us those extra things that would make us think this is a great person to, you know, to look at, because everyone has a degree.
True.
Some actually have 3 that you are competing with. But what is it that makes you different from the others?
True.
Everyone will tell you the same hobbies. Everyone will tell you the same skills. So look a lot into the experiences that you want to bring to us, your leadership, the church, what is it that you are doing beyond just being this student that can really tell us what kind of person you are.
Does the section of hobbies in a resume do? Really
no, we don't actually look
care about it, right? I was speaking to a friend of mine recently, and then they have that section of hobbies, and I'm like, do you really want to put that you go play soccer on weekends? You read I read the poetry during the. It's not really important.
It's not important. But I mean, sometimes you find that maybe they're looking for people who like Kaizer Chiefs. Who knows? As a Kaizer Chiefs fan, perhaps I will consider you. But I'm just saying that focus on the most critical things.
Yes, true.
That will make you look unique.
Yeah. True, definitely. And now let's look into leveraging of social media, right? How can platforms like LinkedIn be used effectively by graduates seeking opportunities? Even TikTok, Facebook. I remember one particular lady I sat with here, she said, you must make sure that your social media is clean. Can't be posting you in clubs, popping bottles and all of that. But how can then graduates leverage those particular platforms?
I think one of the best platforms is LinkedIn, where you can really build a profile that tells other people what is your capability. Because through that, it links you with available jobs that you can actually apply without you doing anything. Facebook and social media, in terms of employment, it has its limitations. I think employers nowadays, we go to check your behavior better. Because if we search your social media and your posts are bashing companies, this, that, why do we want someone like that? So there are better platforms where you can market yourself, and there are those that you just need to be able to interact with in a manner in which you do not actually make your own career not go anywhere.
True. And you cannot hire me seeing me posting on Sunday, 5 o'clock in a club on top of the table. It means I'm not coming on Monday because I'll be lost. Definitely cannot work. Now let's come into handling rejection. What advice do you have for graduates dealing with job application rejections? That is one lady I was telling you about that I stay with. She's been sending, she's a new graduate. She's actually even graduating on the 2nd of April. She's been sending applications, rejections, and she's like, I don't think I can do this anymore. What do you say to people who are feeling that way?
Okay. Always remember that if you see an advert, let me just give you an idea. If we put out an advert as AGSA, we expect about 5,000 applications. And the sifting through is dependent on what people are needing at that particular time. So rejection doesn't necessarily mean that you are incapable. You might not be what they are looking for at that particular time. So look for opportunities that matches where you are at in life. If you are also applying for manager this, that, 5 years this, you're actually wasting a lot of your resources.
Even your data there. That is expensive.
Look at entry-level jobs, that aligns with where you are in your life. Because then you can be considered more than looking at a job that requires 5 years and you don't have it as yet.
5 years experience. I just recently graduated.
Because now you're just sending those CVs and the rejections are really...
I don't think they even read them. But the system just filters them and it's out like that. And let's just say setting career goals. How can then graduates set realistic goals and achievable career goals?
Be ambitious, but don't be over. Because you break your own heart. Always know that any entry job is good enough. If you want to become a manager, but you're going to start as an administrator, that's a good start.
True.
Because you're starting. So your goals must have, they must align with where you are in your life, so that they are achievable. Don't set goals that are not achievable, because when you don't achieve them, you think you are a failure.
Sure. It's very sad.
And I think it's good to do internship programs, because also through internship programs, you get to align what you really like. So sometimes you find that, yes, I did study this course, but it's not really what I want to do. So, in the drive of touching the future, we are also going to be starting a podcast. And the podcast is going to be looking into careers in the manner of what happens to those who have been trained as medical doctors, but they are cooking in those 7 years. The mismatch between what you studied and what is your passion is also a problem. But when you do go through internship programs, you look into a working space and say, no, man, I thought I was going to do accounting, but I'm not going to do accounting. So it also shapes up whether you want to do additional degrees, because after the 3 years, now you're like, okay, that was cool, but actually I just want to do music. Let me go and study to do music. So now imagine if you spend 7 years now studying, and you only go to the workplace after 7 years and realize that you made a mistake.
Sure. I don't know, when we see it, and I'm looking at the time, we're definitely running out of time, but I'll then take this question to say, how do we balance between passion? Do we then go for what we are passionate about, or what is available, what the market is looking into, right? Because people will tell you that, now you can't study passion, you're not going to eat passion, you need to look into the industry, look into what South Africa is lacking and tap into that field.
I think at the moment, life is about passion. People who are doing very great, they are doing things that they love. Yes, you need, because I believe that we are now very multi-skilled. With AI and whatnot, you don't necessarily have to focus on one thing to be able to become somebody. So passion has to have a place as well.
True. And I was telling people, and even our last speaker here was saying that, you know what, sometimes people go to universities to have that degree so that when they try and follow their passion in the fields, they have something to fall on. What do you say to that
But
statement?
how many years have been wasted already? And how many degrees are in the drawers?
And you know, under the bed, under the mattress, you're gonna put them there on the walls, on the
I think a base as a qualification is quite critical. But that's why I'm emphasizing, don't delay the process of going to the workplace.
Yeah, true.
Because it's only when you get to the workplace where you're like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
You will never know if you continue to study without going to the workplace.
Sure, definitely. Khonze, I have to tell you this, it has come. You know, when you hear that sound, it is time for us to pack our things and leave this particular building. Once you hear that sound, it has come to the end of that conversation. But before I close off, Madam O, I want you to leave some few words to the graduates that will be graduating. Even I myself, on the 2nd of April, I'm graduating for my degree. A lot of us are coming in, and we might be coming in to your company. A lot of people, I want you to leave your last remarks to the university itself, the students, the community of Social Media at large. This is your moment.
Okay. Graduates, be focused. Look out for opportunities. When you find an opportunity, stick with it. Persevere. Learn as much as you can. Build that CV by creating that minimum 1 year experience from whatever opportunity that you have, so that moving forward, you are able to get that job opportunity that you are looking for.
Ladies and gentlemen, our time has come to an end. Madam O, I want to say thank you so much for making time to speak with us this evening. And I feel like this conversation would
it could go for days.
This 1 hour, 30 minutes, it's a very short, but I'll speak to Khonze to make sure that you do have a time where you come again, and then we'll extrapolate on much more matters. But with that given moment of time, I need to say, and let me remind you, before I give acknowledgement to the following people, the Directorate of Corporate Education, in conjunction with the Performability, Recruitment and Recruiters Care, is offering a series of workshops during 2025 to prepare students for job hunting. Now, all students are welcome. The date is the 14th of March 2025, 12 o'clock until 2 p.m. It is going to be online via Teams, so you'll then definitely have to scan the QR code to join in. I know Khonze Molefe will then set up everything on our social media platforms so that you'll be able to get that. Remember, we are on Facebook, TUTFM 96.2, X, Insta, and TikTok is TUTFM_962, and on WhatsApp we are 012-382-9257. With that being said, it is 9 o'clock. Dire William Masenya is not coming in to plug you with a partner, because Madam M, on a Wednesday, we do not only plug graduates with work, we do plug them with partners also. So that, because once you get that opportunity, you might misuse the funds. So you need to have a partner who will then be able to channel you and become disciplined. With that being said, I give acknowledgement to the Directorate of Corporate Education, Dr. Rolin Brink, the Station Manager, Mekidiboni Mahapa Tselela, and the Alumni Relations and Fundraising Manager, Me Shalati Posha Zavan. Always listening, watching our live. Shout out to you, Me Posha, the Directorate of Corporate Education Employability Practitioner, Mr. Alberto Sekhobela, TUTFM Programs Manager, the show director of this particular show, Mr. Khonze Molefe Musimane Gape Motswana ko go leboge, and the guest liaison officer, Mr. Tubelo Malibia Libiani. And the content producer, Mr. Isaac Maloka, videographer and social media officer, that Mr. Tsepis Khokwane, the tall man that was here, and the videographer, production officer, Mr. Liseja Sonosha, the tall one, the tallest of them all in the station, man. And now there is me, the host, and my name is Polelo and Madisa. I am second of my name, first of my line. I'm Refule's finest, the best, the Kalinian Kudo from the Pretorian Prince, well known as the big nose boy in the redhead. Kentwana Pitori Twanera Twanar Namela Polo Kamanala, Jama Kunyaka Arch, Kaufelar Mapanzula. Good evening and good night.
The Groundbreakers, Mondays to Thursdays, 7 to 9 p.m. on TUT FM.